Hey guys, Elliot, and tonight we will be exploring the taboo on mental health. Yay! Right. Number one, people seem to think that if they can't see your problem, you haven't got one. For instance, if someone has crutches and a cast on their leg, they have a problem. If someone is schizophrenic, they can't see that, so it's not a problem, and people don't need help. Number two, people seem to think that you can just be cured. Jesus. If you find out someone has a diagnosis of, I don't know, being bipolar, don't ask them a couple of weeks down the road if they're cured. Because, wow. You can't just put someone on meds and then, because meds will help, but they can't get rid of the problem. It's like if you fall over and hit your head, you take some painkillers, it won't get rid of the problem. Like if you've got a cut there, painkillers won't stop the fact that you've got a cut or need stitches. It just numbs the pain. So with medicines for mental health problems, they can dull down some of the thoughts or anxieties or things like that, but they won't just cure you. Like meds for depression, they don't just make you happy for the rest of your life. You're still gonna have shit days. You're still gonna have those days and you're like, yeah, fuck it, I'm jumping. But yeah, so people seem to think that it's acceptable to ask that. We're in number three now? Number three. Or four. Number three or three. Yeah. I've completely lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. Sometimes you see on social networking sites and even in reality, people are trying to explain what mental health is and they compare it to cancer. And a lot of people say, oh, cancers are horrible, cancer can kill people, it's a horrible, horrible thing. But people don't mean literally, oh, well, I basically got cancer because I've got depression. What they're saying is the connotations behind the word cancer. It's not that they're saying anything, they're not putting cancer down, saying, oh, it's crap, I've got depression, that's way worse. What they're saying is that it's an illness that people can't see. You can't just look at someone and say, oh, I've got breast cancer. What they're saying is it's an illness that can kill you. And even though it's in a different way, people seem to think that people who commit suicide have a choice. And sometimes you just don't. For instance, people with schizophrenia, there's a voice in your head. There's some people saying, do it, do it, do it. And it's like a repetitive song that you just can't get out of your head, and it drives you literally mad. This voice that sits somewhere in your ear, sometimes outside, sometimes within, and it tells you what to do. So people think that if someone dies from cancer, I don't know, if chemotherapy doesn't work or it's terminal, I think that's a really sad story. But someone who kills himself, people are like, oh well, they made the choice. And that does bug me quite a bit. Number 4 or 5. 4 or 5. We need to talk about mental health. We need people to not be skipping around the subject. For instance, if you go to work and you suffer from depression, you take a week off because you physically can't get out of bed. People, if you were in bed with flu, when we got back, people would say, oh, how are you feeling? Things any better? You're still struggling? Mental health, everyone's so concerned about saying the right things and saying the wrong things that it's a complete taboo. Like, for instance, sex. That used to be, no one talked about sex, everyone had to cover their ankles and God forbid anyone should show any bit of skin. But we've moved past that now and there's sex everywhere. And I think that's kind of great. The fact that we can change our views on things. And I think that mental health should be people should be more aware of it. People should understand that it is a personal thing, but it's nice if someone just gives you a hug every so often and says, if you need me, call me. If one of your friends broke their leg, you'd say, if you need anything, just come and grab me or call me. You wouldn't just say to them, oh, you've broken your leg. So if you know someone's struggling, or if you suspect someone's struggling, just a hug is something that is people really underrate hugs. And some people have boundary issues and stuff like that, and they don't like being touched, but if you say to someone, can I give you a hug? That'll pretty much brighten up their day. When I was in the nut house, all I wanted was a hug, and for a year, I didn't get a hug, because the staff aren't allowed to hug you and stuff, and patients aren't allowed to hug you in case you strangle them or something. But just give someone a hug, man. It's not going to kill you, it's not going to kill them. Just brighten up their day a bit, and you might feel a bit better for making them feel a bit better. So, there's nothing to lose, really, is there? Final point, because I've waffled on for 6 minutes and 16 seconds already. This has to end with the people self-diagnosing. For instance, if I was to say, there's a difference between being depressed and having depression. Now, anyone can be depressed, and a lot of people have depression, but say you have one night where you don't sleep, you can't call yourself an insomniac. Or if you forget to have lunch one day, you don't go, oh, I'm anorexic, because what you're doing there is making mental health a joke. You wouldn't go, oh, I've got shoulder cancer. If you hurt your shoulder, that would be really frowned upon. But apparently it's humorous to say, oh, forgot my lunch, guess I'm anorexic today. That is what needs to change in this country. We need to talk about it in an open way, but we don't need to mock it. We need people to understand what problems other people are facing and understand how massive this can be in someone's life, how much it can take over your life completely. And what we don't need is people taking the piss. So I guess I'm going to leave it on a cheery note and say, I am a bulimic, bipolar, schizophrenic, transgendered person. And I've made it this far. Didn't think I would because of mental health problems, but I have. And the more people know about it, the more they can help people like, I don't know, you, me, anyone. So get out there and talk about it. And don't mock it. But yeah, have a nice evening.